So what we're going to walk through in this video is showing you how to lower your 3rd gen Cummins. I've done it once on this truck. Someone did a reverse level and they kind of screwed up the leaf springs in the rear. They took out a couple of leaf spring packs, or well, the spacer packs. They left the overload and it just sat too high for me. So I went and removed 2 leaves to get the additional drop, and it rides way too rough. Then in the front, I went ahead and I cut 1.5 coils off to have the front drop down to try to match the rear. It sits a little higher than the rear, and that's one of the reasons why we're redoing it today. The truck as it sits now is about an inch lower in the rear than it is in the front. And I don't really care for the height difference there. So what we're gonna do is, this is a leaf spring I picked up from a junkyard. It was a complete factory leaf spring, had the additional spacers and the overload, and then it had 1 more leaf in it. What you do is you come over here and you knock out this plastic tab, and then you're able to push out that plastic spring after you take the bolts loose. You can see where the pad was sitting, and then from the side where it curves up, you're going to take an air hammer or a chisel and a hammer. Chisel and a hammer will take a while, but you want to knock this leaf spring all the way out to the flat side. Once it gets the end about here, you can really just pull it out. And then you're going to want to get shorter bolts to keep the bottom spacer, so you have the alignment dial. Shorter bolts, bolt it all back together, and you're good to go. I had some worn out bushings, so we have some energy polyurethane bushings to replace the old factory. Once I get under the truck, I'll show you how these pop in and how to realign. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a wire wheel, clean out the inside of the hole, get some of the rust and gunk out, and then we're going to lube up our bushings, knock those in with a little hammer for some assistance, lube up the pin, slide that in. We're gonna get both of them set up, so that way when we're under the truck, we aren't fighting anything. Let's go ahead and do that. And so that one's nice and clean. We're gonna take the lube that's supplied with it. We got just some white lithium or white petroleum jelly. Go ahead and lube up our bushing. That kind of lined up. Some of the excess off our gloves. Take a hammer, just kind of evenly hit it around. Got that side nice and flush. Flip it over, lube up our other side. These smaller ones are for the actual hanger, whether you get drop shackles or not. You can knock these out of the old hanger and you'll have a nice quiet ride. That's simple. Now getting them out is kind of a pain. What you're going to want to do is take a drill bit to your old ones, drill holes all the way through it, just everywhere you possibly can. Drill as much rubber out as you can. Then you're going to take an air hammer and try to knock that center out. You're just gonna, let me show you the bit. You'll take a bit like this, and then right on the metal bushing of the old one, you're just going to drive it out. It'll break all the rubber, and then you're going to take and fold in all the sides of the old one, and then just anywhere you can, a flat spot, drive the old one out. Now there is two sides. One has a lip that folds over the edge, and the other side's flat. Try to go to the flat side so you're not fighting that lip, and then they're not easy, but they'll come out. Other people have recommended burning them out. I've never wanted to do that, just for the smell, the mess. Drilling them out has always worked for me. You get a little bit of rubber in your shop, but that's about it. Easy to sweep up, clean up. So we're gonna lube up our little sleeve here. Wants to push out. All right, it's the problem we were having as we're hitting it. The bushing just wants to push the sleeve out. So I have this vise that I've yet to mount on a bench. Comes in handy sometimes. Bring it over to the back of the truck. We're going to use it as a press to help squeeze it in. So take the vise all the way out. Line it up a little better. Not ideal. Table vise, much better, or a press. I haven't gone out and got a press yet. Haven't had too many needs for it. We got everything lined up, so now we just tighten up, and it'll help slide the bushing all the way through. Or help the pen slide the bushing all the way through anyway. Hitting it with a hammer was starting to form the end, so I took a burr bit, cleaned up any of the edge on the inside that would stop the bolt from going through. This way we don't mess any threads up. Cleaned up really nice. Once I noticed it, I stopped right away before I ruined it. And just like that, we got one side in. See, sleeves pressed in. We're gonna go ahead and get the other three done. Once that's done, we'll be under the truck. I'll get it jacked up and put on jack stand, so we're ready to lower the axle and take the leaf springs off. All right, so we got the leaf spring out. You can see here, this is the rubber bushing I was talking about, the factory one that could potentially be bad on yours. It was terrible on ours. One was able to remove by hand, it rattled so much. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna drill out all the rubber here, and then use an air hammer to fold down the lip over here, and then push it all out. Here we have our drop shackle. That's the curve that needs to go towards the frame. So it's gonna be installed this way so it can flex past the frame mount. The factory bolt does not fit through the bushing on this. So what I had to do was take it and I cut a slit all the way down it to open it up. Wouldn't recommend it. I did it in a pinch. I was starting a job in the next few days. They're terrible quality brackets anyway. They're stout, but craftsmanship is pretty terrible. Got holes all in the welds. If you can make them your own, go for it. I went the cheap route. They were 60 bucks. They do fine. What we're going to do is we're going to push this bushing out, put the one from the energy kit in, because it's the correct size and the bolt fits. Makes everything happy. Then we're going to slap it all back in. I'll get you a video of it going up. It takes a T60 Torx bit, a 24 millimeter for your bolts, and then a 15/16 for the front bolt. Pretty simple to do. You can do all this in your driveway. The only issue you'll have is if you have to change out your bushings. If you go that route, if you have a press, there'll be no problem. Air hammer, no problem. If not, you're gonna have to take to a shop somewhere and have them press it out, drill it out, and then install your new bushings. But everything else can be done in your driveway. You will need shorter U-bolts made. I would recommend taking off about 1.5 to 2 inches off your U-bolts. Just take your U-bolts to a machine shop, ask them to copy it 2 inches shorter. I believe I went 2 inches and they fit pretty well with extra space. Could have went a little more, but I was happy with it. So ran into this problem again. I've had it happen before where the bushing seems like the energy kit, they have them too long. There's no space in the middle for when you drive the sleeve in for it to really compress, so it tries to push itself out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and pull that off. What I've done in the past is I shaved about 1/2 inch off, and then that really opens it up, allows everything to fit real nice. Just 1/2 inch on one side. Never had any problems with it. This has happened multiple times before, and I don't know why I don't just do it to begin with. But I'm gonna get this out, get it cut up, and press back in. All right, so what we have here is the kit that Firepunk sends you for the lowering shocks. You're gonna need 6 of these bushings, and then 6 of these sleeves. They're a bit bigger diameter than what comes in them. These are what comes in the shocks. They're made for smaller vehicles, so smaller diameter. But this is the part number for the rear shock. This is the part number for the front shock. Once you push the old bushing out, you'll push the new in with the new sleeve. You got the front. Then you'll use your mounting hardware that comes with this front shock. That'll just transfer over the same. It's a little bit of a pain. Vise makes it easy. Get you a socket to allow the bushing rubber part to push into. And then I have a 3/4 to 1/2 inch adapter here that I was using to push the actual bushing out. Once you get those pushed out, push the new ones in. Use this socket has a little spacer to push the new rubber in, and then keep the socket on there, push the sleeve in. Good to go. We got the leaf springs in, we got it aligned, U-bolts in. The first thing you want to do when you put the leaf springs in is the front bolt. You're going to want to put that in, snug it up. You don't want to get it tight yet. And then you're going to want to hang the rear drop shackle. You're already going to have the bolt in from the leaf spring to the shackle. You just need to put the bolt in from the shackle to the frame. You don't want to tighten anything up until you jack the axle up and get it into position. So when you tighten it up, it doesn't have much twisting it needs to do. If you tighten it up while it's hanging, you're going to have a lot of squeaking. The rubber is just going to bind up and rattle and squeak. It sounds terrible. You're definitely going to want to grease these also. Make sure you run grease in them, otherwise everybody will hear you squeaking around town. So we're going to go ahead, finish getting the shock set up, put the rear together, hang the new shocks, throw the new stock wheels we have on, Then we're gonna move to the front and start disassembly on the front coils. So we're gonna pick up today where we left off yesterday. We got the rear done, shocks are on, leaf springs are on, wheels are on. Just gotta tighten up the traction bars. Gotta readjust, make sure they're the right length. Today we're gonna jack up the front end, get it on jack stands, take the front wheels off, disconnect the shocks at the top, and then lower the axle enough to where we can remove the lower bolt on the shock and pull the spring out to the side. All right, so what we got here is the front end. We're gonna go ahead and swap out to the Firepunk coils and lowering shocks. I got the front end jacked up on one side, tire off, jack stand back on the frame so the axle can lower. What we're gonna do is we're gonna come in here, we're gonna take our sway bar loose here, which will allow the axle to drop further down. We're gonna take our 3 nuts off our ring up here and get rid of our tower. And then the shock has a nut up top you're gonna take loose. Then from in here, you're gonna come in and take the lower shock bolt loose. You can reach it from the front right here with an impact. And then that'll whip out and everything will drop down and you're able to angle it and pull it all out. I'll get back to you when we're going to install the new. All right, here we have our Firepunk lowering coil right here with our progressive rate. So you can see as the bottom gets tighter, as it compresses, it'll get stiffer. While up top, it'll give you a nice ride quality. Where here, we cut the coil and it just rode terrible, stagnant, hard everywhere, hit a terrible bump, it would bottom out. I wouldn't recommend it. Do it right. These were right at 600 bucks. If you added the shocks in, you get all 4 new shocks for 1,000 bucks. But the ride quality absolutely matters with these. As you can see, we got our sway bar disconnected. We pulled the bottom bolt out, top bolt, and then took the ring off, and we have a fleece tower delete going in for our new setup. So go ahead and slide the shock inside of the coil, and then together you'll slide it up and in, over and down, and do not forget to put your rubber isolator back on top, and then you'll be good to go. So we're out here at Lone Star State Park. Just finished up the test drive in the truck. Drives fantastic. Sits absolutely level, hits speed bumps like a 1500, just nice and smooth over them. Doesn't jar you in the truck. Could not recommend this anymore. If you're considering it, go ahead, go to firepunk.com, pick you up a set. You won't regret it.